I've been working on the restoration of this BK 1075, and I discovered a kind of interesting circuit quirk. Those selenium rectifiers in there appear to have an awful lot of voltage across them. What I measured in this unit is about 280 volts on this end and minus 570 volts on this end. Now, I know that this is supposed to be pretty negative. It actually goes up to the Vidicon tube, which is shown up here. When I say Vidicon tube, it's actually the a photomultiplier that picks up the signal from the blind spot scanner. The negative voltage doesn't surprise me, but the amount of it does. And I'm going to have to think a little bit about why that has 1100 volts across this set of 4 selenium rectifiers. I was going to replace those with silicon diodes, but I'm a little puzzled on that one. But in the meantime, I've been doing some little more ordinary capacitor replacement. And one of the capacitors that I was going to replace is this 20 microfarad 350 volt capacitor that goes to the video output switch. It selects between a positive and negative video signal, and it's over on the other schematic where it comes out, but basically it picks between this point and that point and then couples it through there. Well, I was testing, and what I discovered is that there's a lot of leakage from that point to ground. I tested that resistor, and it seems to be okay, so I suspected that capacitor. So I pulled it out, and I put it on my, here it is right here, and I put it up here on my Syncor LC102, and you notice the capacitor value is reading 13.46, which is low, but when you go to capacitor leakage is bad, and that's only at 250 volts. If I go to 300 volts, okay, now I have it set for 300 volts, and you notice the leakage here. 9 milliamps. And if I go to the rated 350 volts, now if I go to capacitor leakage, it's almost 18 milliamps, which is bad. To give you a comparison, here is a 20 mic 450, but I'm only going to test it at 350. But to give you an idea of what a good capacitor, it would be, this is 18.84, which is about 1 microfarad, 1 microfarad low. And then over on capacitor leakage, see, it's down in the microamps. In fact, it's down to 300 or less than 300 microamps of leakage. So that shows you what happens to some of these old capacitors. Now, I'm planning to leave those selenium rectifiers in there, but I am going to go ahead and change out the electrolytics, at least in this 1075. I'm testing the CAN capacitor in here. That's the capacitor that's filters the B+. With the old capacitor in there, I get 305 volts B+. And what I'm checking is the 40 mic 450 on the right. Reads pretty little high, 56. So you see there's like 14 milliamps at 450 volts, which is definitely bad, as it shows there. We'll hook up a new Nichicon here. and try the same thing. Capacitor value 43. Capacitor leakage 300 microamps, 260, 220, and keeps going down. So as it shows there, this one is good at 450 volts. So once again, it just shows you why that in old equipment like this probably dates to the late 50s, I would guess maybe 58. And even in equipment like that, these old electrolytics are drying out and going bad. So don't depend on the what you read with the multimeter alone. It's probably better if you don't have a good capacitor tester to just go ahead and replace them anyway. If you do have a good capacitor tester, you might want to check them, but generally if you want something to last, you want to put in a new capacitor anyway, just to make sure that it doesn't go out in a few weeks or a few months, especially in the power supply. Now this power supply is pretty well protected. It's got double fuse. It's got a fuse on the AC line, and then it's got a fuse on the B plus to the horizontal output. So it isn't likely that a bad capacitor is going to ruin your power transformer or something like that. But it still doesn't hurt to replace them and just not have to worry about them for a few years.